So I've gotten some requests from people here on TikTok to start making longer videos about my farming operation and basically what I do and how I do it. And I think it'll be a pretty interesting way, at least for me, to document my progress. And I'm starting this off here at a 37-acre property that I bought this month. And first off, I'd like to kind of explain how I was able to buy these 37 acres as a 24-year-old. So I purchased this land using a USDA Farm Service Agency farm ownership loan. The first step in getting a FSA farm ownership loan is you have to first get a letter of rejection from a commercial traditional lender like your local Farm Credit or some other bank. And there's a lot of different reasons you can get that letter of rejection. For example, you cannot have the necessary 20 or 25% down payment needed to purchase the land, which is how I qualified for the USDA's loan program. Among other requirements, you also have to have 3 years of farming experience. Now, there's multiple different ways you can meet that experience requirement for qualifying for the loan. So I qualified for it because I have been farming by the books officially, filing a Schedule F with the IRS since 2020. And I definitely surpassed the 3 years of necessary experience. Some other things you can do to qualify for that, if that's something you are interested in, is you can have a college degree that can count towards some experience. You can also be an employee on another farm and use that to count towards some experience, whether that's a management position or even lower level positions. They can all still count towards the experience requirement. And there's also mentorship programs that you can partner with another farmer and use that to kind of move forward and qualify. You also have to have a business plan and a bunch of other different things, but just talk to your local Farm Service Agency office to learn more about that. But with that out of the way, I'll just tell you a little bit more about this piece of property. So this is 37 acres, and it was a farm decades ago. This property has been abandoned since 1990. And what you see here is 24 acres of planted loblolly pines that have not been properly managed. Like I said, abandoned for 35 years. So there's a lot of trees that should have been thinned out previously that are just falling over. There's way too much competition. I mean, there's down trees all over the place on this property. Stuff that's underdeveloped. I mean, I measured some of these trees earlier, and they're 9 inches around. And a loblolly pine at about this age should be 18 to 24 inches around. So you get the idea. They are over competing, and it's never been thinned. There's a lot of just falling down trash all over the place, and it's about 5 years past due to be cut anyway. So the remainder of the property used to be a pasture. He kept beef cattle out there, and he also did grow sweet corn down in that bottom that's next to the creek. But like I said, it's been abandoned since 1990, and currently the entire thing is grown over in a mix of sawbriars and kudzu with some bamboo. But there's no semblance of grass out here at all, and honestly, it's waist high. So even if there is grass out there, I couldn't find it, and it's probably shaded out and just needs some serious work, definitely. So there hasn't been a lot of work happening on this property since I purchased it earlier this month. But the primary objectives right now are basically to figure out what needs to happen with these trees. I'm located here in western North Carolina, and a lot of the local sawmills are just completely covered up with trees from storm damage from Hurricane Helene. I mean, even though that was back in September, it's still, they're just still majorly backed up and can't accept a lot of new lumber. So the primary question now is what to do with the timber, who I need to sell it to, who's going to come cut it, how much can I get for it, and just dealing with those issues right now. Because eventually the plan is to turn this into pasture land, because I raise sheep and I'd like to get back into raising beef cattle. I had to sell out previously because I just was limited on acreage, and this timber as it is really serves, it's really no good to me. But aside from the forestry and timber aspect of it, the other primary objective at this time is to thin out the coyote populations. There are a lot of coyotes on this property. I knew some of the neighbors before I even bought this property, and they have spotted coyotes. The new neighbors that I just met have spotted coyotes. I have seen coyotes on this property in person since I bought it. We're picking them up on the game cameras. There's a lot of coyotes on this property, and we really need to get their population under control before I can even hope to have sheep or goats on this property. It's pretty major. So to just wrap this video up, I know there's not a lot of work and not a lot of progress to show right now, but you know, the first step is always the hardest, and maybe I can get this farm back to what it used to be, or better than it used to be before it was abandoned 35 years ago. So God bless. Have a great rest of your day.